Greetings to you. I hope today finds you and your family well. My name is Katuk. This podcast is called Catch It, A New Perception. And I hope you're able to do that. I hope you're able to catch a new perception every moment of your life because you realize that you have impacted your own life. The things that you think, the actions that you take are going to impact your life. So it's not this podcast that will impact your life as much as you will. The only way that this podcast can affect you, can allow you to see the world different, allow you to think different, allow you to feel different, is because you take an action to impact your life by taking the time to listen. So please, share this with other people. Share this podcast with people that you believe want to be impacted differently by themselves by taking the time to listen. Please subscribe, share it with others, and allow your friends, family, and loved ones to impact themselves by taking an action to be able to think different so they can feel different. It's the object of this podcast, and it is the implication of every single episode, is that you are going to impact your life more than anyone else is ever going to impact your life. Thinking about how people who have fallen short sometimes are ashamed of themselves. Sometimes so ashamed that they fear being able to make things right. They've fallen short. A simple example that someone's probably not ashamed of. They've just fallen short and wish they could have done something different. They started listening to this podcast when they first started and now tune in on season 7 and kind of wondered where they all went. Where did time go? I wish I could have done this different. I can't believe that this gets me to think the way it does. And I've not been present this whole time. I was doing really well at first when I listened to this podcast, and then I got away from it, and I don't know what happened. But I fell short. And I was doing so good. There are other aspects in your life where you could fall short, where you set a goal for yourself and you didn't accomplish it and you feel ashamed. There's many different ways that this can happen. What I'm telling you is that you don't have to feel ashamed. Feeling shame is not something that's advantageous for those of us who are doing everything in our power to try to get to know our higher self. Feeling shame is something we can leave behind. It's a really good experience so we can relate to others, so we understand how they feel when they feel shame when we're relating to them, and we can understand where they're at because we've been there. In that sense, it's a really good experience. I don't think it's a good experience for me today to be able to live in shame because I've fallen short. I think that if I fall short, I should just say, I'm going to do this better. Not, I can do this better. I'm going to do this better. Speak it into existence again. Okay? Learn the terminology that you want to learn. Set your subconscious the way that you want it to be set. And when you fall short, realize, I'm going to do this different. This is what I'm going to do. And then take the action towards doing it different. To say you're going to do it different, I get that that's the beginning of it. We speak it into existence first and we say we're going to do it. Then we need to follow through. Otherwise, they're just words. If there's no follow through with any of this, if you listen to this podcast, oh yeah, that's great, that's wonderful, he's got some good ideas, yeah, I'd like to do that someday. It doesn't allow you to feel different about you. It doesn't allow you to feel different about the people around you. All it does is get you stuck into the same mode of doing what you've always done with no follow-through, not feeling any different, not thinking any different, not taking any different action, will result in the same thing you've always gotten. When you started to do this work and then you've fallen short and you realize, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to think different, it will happen. So take the action to be able to, as I was speaking in a recent episode about, take the action to reach out to someone else. Take the action to be able to do what you've been putting off. Procrastination could allow you to feel shame. What if you could do something in your life today to never feel shame again? I get that sometimes other people want to put that on you. I don't hear that terminology as much as I used to when I was younger. A generation ago still even, I would hear people say, shame on you. Maybe it's because I'm in different circles. I don't know. It may be that I'm just not hanging out with the people that use that terminology today. I don't know. What I do know is that you never have to feel that way again. You never have to think that way again. It's like any other emotion. You have the ability to change it. Earlier, I was sitting with some friends talking about fear. Now, I would rather talk about faith than fear, because fear is not the solution. Fear is the problem. I would rather talk about the solution. So I would have rather had the conversation be based around faith. Now, what is faith? It might be faith in another human being. It might be faith in my spouse. It might be faith in a group of people. It might be faith in the Creator. Faith could mean a lot of different things to me. When I have faith, fear is absent. Often, I understand that's not always true, not 100% true. I get it. Often, when I have fear, faith is absent. So, when I feel shame, what am I missing? What's absent? Is it confidence? Or pride? I'm not talking egotism or arrogance or grandiosity or whatever those are when it's like taken to an extreme. What I'm talking about is being proud, being confident, knowing I'm right-sized and I'm equal to, not feeling like I'm less than. When I have felt shame, I feel like I don't measure up, and I know that feeling. I get it's maybe been a period of time in my life since I've experienced it the way I once did. I was overwhelmed by shame so much at certain points in my life, I couldn't even describe the shame I felt. The shame I felt like I experienced. I felt like it was my essence and it was my being. It was overwhelming. At times I've experienced it with loneliness and different types of things. Here's the thing. I don't want to look at being ashamed. I don't want to look at being shamed. I don't want to look at feeling shame. I want to look at being confident. I have fallen short and I'm confident I can do it differently. I'm confident I can listen to every episode of this podcast going forward because I fell short. And I like the ideas of what I heard, and I liked when I carried it out, and I'm not carrying it out lately, so I'm going to learn how to do this, and now I'm going to carry it out. I'm going to take this action to be able to think different so I can feel different. Confidence. Not arrogance. Speaking it into existence, not feeling shame. This works with any type of emotion that I feel is I can find out what the opposite is, figure out how to obtain that. And when I figure out how to obtain the emotion that is opposite of what I'm feeling, loneliness, one-ment. Okay? And I have talked on this podcast a little bit about one-ment, or, being together. Community, different terminology, somewhat meaning the same thing. Connectiveness, did a whole episode on it. Okay, so I can find a way to be lonely, or I can find a way to feel connected. What I want to do is find out how to be connected. How to feel like I am one with others. One-ment. These are what I need to focus on. It's not what people would refer to as a negative feeling. Don't get me wrong. I don't see them so much as negative anymore. I see them as being in a place that were very necessary for me at one time, and they weren't negative because they brought me into a place where I aspire to be more. They brought me to a place where I have a desire to get to know my higher self. They brought me to a place where I'm capable of getting to know my higher self. To be able to see the soul shine in you. I appreciate all of it. I appreciate being able to see the solution, working towards that goal. And when I work on one-ment, connectiveness, anything that's the opposite of what would be a negative feeling of loneliness, guilt, shame, any of those types of things, and find that connectiveness, the opposite of that feeling, and work with it. Then I'm in the solution. Now I have a way to move forward. If I'm going to speak it into existence, I will speak about faith, not fear. That is what I want to focus on. I do not want the energy that takes me to a place of loneliness, fear, or shame to be existent. I want faith. I want to be connected. I want a new energy. Those will be the words that I focus on. That will be the place where it's going to take me. This is how I'm going to do it. Generally speaking, back to the same thing I have often talked about. We take a different action. If I feel lonely, maybe I should get out of my house and quit sitting by myself. What happens if I just go out in public and I happen to do something nice for someone, whether they realize I did or not, whether they thank me or not? Do I need someone to say thank you when I hold the door for them? I don't. I have so much to learn. I would just as soon hold the door for you. I'm going to be good if I can be of service in your mind. If I can stop running into myself, I'll be okay today. When I stop thinking about self and I think about what I can do for you, get out of the selfishness, get into the one-ment, the connectiveness. I can't feel the other things like loneliness. I'm in this lifetime to learn what I need to learn. Possibly one day teach what it is I can teach. Not concern myself so much with that as how can I learn from this? How can I learn moving forward? How can I see it differently so I can feel different? How can I catch a new perception today? How do I catch a new perception tomorrow? I'm going to find out. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao Ke.